Welcome to Discover La Jolla, where we shine a light on the jewel of San Diego, La Jolla, California. I'm here with Adam Stadtmiller from La Jolla Christian Fellowship Church.
That's the one. That's the one. It's really stoked to be here today.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming on
Yeah,
the
thanks for inviting
podcast
us.
today. And I know that the church has a very long and robust history being in La Jolla. So
Right.
tell us about that and kind of how things have changed in the past 10 years or so.
Yeah, the odd thing is a lot of the churches have history in La Jolla. We haven't had a successful church plant in La Jolla since 1957. That was the Lutheran church. We got there in 27. So it's been almost 100 years. La Jolla is a dense community now. There's nowhere else to build, nowhere to go. Mm-hmm. And so you have these churches that have been there a very long time. We are an American Baptist church. We split from the Southern Baptists over the issue of slavery in the 60s, and then also women in ministry. They kind of did the suffragette thing. So it's really been involved in a lot of social movements, but it's kept its traditional roots. So we got here in 27. The building we were in was given to us by Mary Scripps in the Episcopal Church. She built it in the 1890s. So we have an Irving Gill, like incredible 100-year-old fellowship hall is what it is now. And we took that, we built again in 58 as the church continued to expand. It was somewhat dying. We had a pastor who was an amazing guy, but he ended up having a health battle with Parkinson's. Over the last 3 years, as he kind of kept trying to make that happen and be involved, the church kind of lost momentum. And the church in general, I think around the country had seemed to lose momentum.
Right.
We're kind of seeing, like I said, in the conversation before, kind of a low-key revival. The conversations about faith that I have since COVID are 100% more intriguing, energetic. People are really looking for faith. When they brought me in 2014, we had dwindled down to about 45 people, but a really faithful 45 people. And they were getting ready to maybe sell the church and give it away, which is something we would have to do. We can't just sell it for profit. We have to give it to a like-minded organization.
Right.
Somebody put $100,000 in that weekend and said, let's look for another pastor. And so they started the search. I'm from San Diego, grew up Mission Beach kid, was up in Carlsbad working at a pretty large church up there called North Coast Calvary Chapel. And then they brought me down, and for the last 10 years, we've been kind of forging a way forward. And so we've had about 10 times growth. We run about 450 on a Sunday. It's been exciting. A lot of young people, multi-generational, traditional values, but I think kind of a modern approach. So in La Jolla, we're one of the only churches in La Jolla that doesn't have smells and bells is what they call it.
Right.
Robes on a Sunday. Those things are great. And a lot of people, the liturgy is a big thing. We're more your traditional, probably, evangelical church, smack dab amongst a bunch of other churches that kind of do the liturgical thing.
And why do you think there's been such a revival, like you said, since COVID?
Well, COVID broke everything, didn't it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think one, people like myself have been told, you can have whatever you want, just go after it. And I think it's left us wanting. My own personal story, Mission Beach, like I said, Mission Beach kid, drugs, the whole thing. Grew up in the 80s, South Mission kind of thing, chased all those things while having a church experience at the same time. So it was, summer camps, I was having these radical revival moments, but then I'd go back into drugs and these whole things. I think that people have been searching and I think they feel unhinged. Actually, the Catholic Church is having a huge revival, and they seem to do that about every 500 years. But I think people are looking for anchors. I think the world seems very unanchored and unhinged. And so what faith does is it does give an anchor of some sort for those that are willing to kind of take that journey. So I just think people feel they're looking for places of stability. They're looking for community, and church is a place where people come together and they get to know each other. So I think that's one of the main reasons,
And touching on community, I know you do a lot of events for the community at the church. So tell us about the one that's upcoming for the holidays.
Oh, the holiday, yeah. We bring snow, so we're bringing 40 tons of snow again to the rec center. That's to be our third year doing that. It's a free event, but we just want to do something for the kids and families, so we do that there. And there's food and music and. Kids just love it. They come out and they're all looking like they're in Big Bear and Mammoth or something like that. We've actually just wanted to inspire and challenge at the same time and be a part of the community. We want to be a community hub. I think churches for so long have been well, hey, we're in our own little, bastion of safety, and if you want to think like us, then you can come hang out with us, as opposed to like, we want to be in community together.
Right.
And most of us live in community. I go to the store, not everybody is a Christian or wants to go to church. How do we relate in a world that does that? So our whole thing is we want to bless La Jolla. I think, we've even talked about that strategy and talking about how do we message, like you guys, you're into messaging. And I think bless La Jolla is something we really want to do. So the other thing we're part of is the La Jolla High School. We have about 60 kids coming to Faith Club.
Oh, I love
so
that.
before COVID, that was about 12. And since COVID, we'll have up to 75 kids take their lunchtime to come sit in a classroom, and we just have them ask questions. It's student-led. The kids are running it. My daughter's actually the president of it this year, or actually last year she was, not this year. So, we just want to be a part of the community, not just take up space in a community.
Right. No, I love that. And thank you so much for sharing a little bit more about the history of the church, kind of what you're doing in the community. Now, if someone wants to attend a service or learn more about what you're doing, what's the best way for them to get in touch?
Yeah, it's super easy. We're on, the church is called churchatlajolla.org. We're also on Spotify. So if you just want to check out the messages, see if they relate to you. You can go to LJCF Podcast on Spotify. We're on YouTube, La Jolla Christian Fellowship on YouTube, all across all the platforms, Instagram. Really easy to find. And we got a great 22-year-old gal that does our Instagram. It's so fun to watch the fun stuff she does. So if you want to be entertained, go check out our Instagram.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Adam. And thank you for watching Discover La Jolla.
Yeah, thanks.
Welcome to Discover La Jolla, where we shine a light on the jewel of San Diego, La Jolla, California. I'm here with Heidi Martinez from San Diego Skin and Laser.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you for coming on the podcast today. We're excited to learn a little bit more about your story and kind of what you're doing now. So I know we were chatting before the interview, but you used to own your own med spa. So tell us a bit about how you got started.
So I've actually been a nurse practitioner now for 14 years. I came from a really tiny town in Minnesota where looking good and wanting to feel good was kind of a stigma. So that obviously intrigued me. I was like, ooh, like, why does nobody like this stuff? So I moved to Arizona where I practiced for about 10 years. So I've only been in La Jolla for about 4 years now, but I always knew I was interested in it. Obviously, as a kid, when you're not supposed to like something, you're intrigued by it.
Yes.
So yeah, been practicing now in this industry for 13 years now.
That's a long time.
Yes.
And being in the industry for that long, what would you say your primary service of expertise would be? Or what do people come in for most often that you're seeing?
I would say the first step in getting started is always a neuromodulator, which is Botox or Dysport. There's actually a lot on the market nowadays, but I feel like that's what people ease into. And then, of course, skincare services, laser resurfacing. We live in a sunny, state, so getting those brown spots off. And then people will start to get into fillers and biostimulators. So biostimulators are a lot different than fillers because they actually stimulate your own collagen production, where fillers actually just fill an area.
Right.
So a lot of people will get confused on what is what. It's confusing.
And is that what PRP is essentially?
No, so I love PRP as well. That is where we actually draw your blood and we separate all the growth factors out of it. So the most common areas that people do is you can microneedle that into the skin. So that helps with fine lines, pores, scars, and it helps with the redness healing faster. The other thing you can do is you can actually inject it right under the eyes, because that's people's number one concern is I look tired, my eyes look crepey. So you actually inject that right underneath the eyes and it will help brighten it and tighten the under eye skin. So people love to go, I would say nowadays, on the more natural approaches.
Right. Now, what are you saying when someone comes in and let's say they pull up a photo on their phone or they're taking something off Instagram and they show it to you and they're like, this is the inspiration. is a lot of times, is that look achievable, or what is something that you're seeing with that as the growth of social media kind of expands and people are getting these more unrealistic expectations?
Yeah, so that is a very common problem in this industry. I would say my number one thing is education, education. I always explain it to people like going to the gym. You're never going to get six-pack abs in one visit. Your face, your skin is a lifelong journey. You're going to have to continue coming. And I always tell people, you don't know if that like photo is doctored, filtered. I always get, I want Kylie Jenner lips. And for some people's natural anatomy, it's just not possible.
Right.
And it's really just explaining that and educating that it's going to take a commitment. You're not going to get there in one visit. And you do have to budget for this type of thing as well.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's very good points and really good recommendations. Now, being in La Jolla, like you said, it is so sunny and it's a very active community. What's a tip that you would give your clients coming into you on a regular basis to take care of their skin?
So I actually do see a lot of surfers, and from being in the water, you can actually get more sun damage. So the number one thing I say is reapply your sunscreen almost every hour and a half. There's some that say it will last up to 8 hours, but to truly protect your skin, you really need to keep reapplying that. And also, another good explanation, just because of education purposes, you wouldn't go to the dentist twice a year and not do your at-home care.
Right.
So we have to go home, we have to brush our teeth twice a day. It's the same with skincare. We want to keep up with it day and night. So what you do at home truly matters before you come into the office.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Now, if someone is watching this and they have more questions for you, they want to learn more, they want to book an appointment, what's the best way for them to get in touch?
So I am located at San Diego Skin, which is in plastic, Dr. Mark Mofid's office. He's also amazing, a great plastic surgeon. So that number is easy to get a hold of, or my Instagram, which is Heidi Lee _ the Beauty NP.
Thank you so much, Heidi, for coming on the podcast today. Thank you so much for watching Discover La Jolla. Welcome to Discover La Jolla, where we shine a light on the jewel of San Diego, La Jolla, California. I'm here with Rea Corley, and she has a dental practice, Rea Corley DDS, in downtown La Jolla.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast today. And we're excited to learn a little bit more about you and your dental office down in La Jolla.
Yeah, I'm very excited to be here.
So what was the reason you started your practice, and how did you get into what you're doing?
So I actually grew up in around dental offices, and I always really loved watching like the people build relationships, long-standing, and then helping people. And so I really loved that. And I'm from San Diego, grew up in La Jolla, and so it kind of felt like the right fit of where to open my practice.
I love that. And being local to La Jolla, I'm sure that a lot of your clientele is local to La Jolla. So tell us about the practice and what someone can expect when they come and visit you.
So we are a very small private practice. I've been there for about 12 years, but I am the only practitioner. So when you come in, you're going to always be seen by me. You're going to be treated by me. And, you know, we know all of our patients. We've now watched their kids grow up from high school and graduate and have babies. And so we know their families. And it's, you know, it really feels like a family when you walk in. Like everyone knows your name, and it just feels very comfortable.
And tell us about some of the services that you offer and kind of what are your more popular services that you specialize in.
So I am a general dentist, but my main focus is Invisalign, which is straightening people's teeth. And that really became a passion project for me because I think there's a common misconception that it's all about just giving people a pretty smile, but there's so much more to it. And fixing people's bite so that they're functioning properly actually protects and can prevent a lot of dental work. And I know it sounds crazy, but I don't want to pick up the drill. And I want to avoid that as much as possible. And with all the advances we're having in technology and all the information we have, we've really found that by fixing someone's bite so it's hitting properly, not only does it give them this beautiful smile, which is great for the selfies, but it also really prevents them from being in the dental chair more down the road.
And at what age do you recommend that Invisalign be used as treatment? Is it something that can can be as early in youth, or is it something that it's more of like the teenage years?
It's all years, actually. So, I mean, it can definitely be treated for youth, but as well as adults. I have patients from, 16 to 80 that I am doing the treatment on. And the thing I hear from my 70, 80-year-olds is, why did no one tell me about this sooner? So it adjusts to everyone's lifestyle. So it's really great for any patients of all ages.
Now, being in La Jolla, what is one of your favorite parts about La Jolla and the community?
I really love all the small coffee shops and small shops that have been there for such a long time. It's really nice just to kind of go to those and, see the small business feel. And then obviously walking to the cove and seeing the sea lions and that gorgeous view.
Yeah, and it never gets old. And I'm sure being from La Jolla, you've seen it change through the years, but a lot of times things have remained the same. And like you said, there's businesses that have been around for quite some time. So it's nice to have that integrated in the community. So if someone would like to learn about what services you offer in your practice and get to know more about you and your office, what's the best way for them to get in touch?
So there's a couple ways. Best site is our website, which is just my name, Rea Corley DDS.com. There's all the information. You can book appointments directly from the website. We're also on Instagram, so you could follow us there and, kind of see a little bit more about what's going on in the office. And also that's just Rea Corley DDS.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Rea, for coming on the podcast today, sharing more about your practice. And if you're watching this, be sure to check them out. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Welcome to Discover La Jolla, where we shine a light on the jewel of San Diego, La Jolla, California. I'm here with Nurse Brenna, and she's with Aluma Medical Aesthetics. And you have a beautiful studio over in Bird Rock. So thank you so much for coming on the podcast today.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
And we're excited to learn a little bit more about your story and how you got started with what you're doing now. So tell us a little bit about the why behind it and why you chose to end up in Bird Rock.
Yeah, so I've been a nurse for around actually a lot longer, 12 years, but an aesthetic nurse for about 9 years. And when I moved to San Diego, I just there were a lot of things that happened before that. I had family members who passed away, and I just kind of had this realization that I don't know if what I was doing was my passion. Mm-hmm. And so I saw some signs of aging on my face, and I also started to see MedSpa, Botox, fillers, and I was like, what is this? So I got hired, and I really, really quickly realized that was my passion. And so once I started working into it, it ran through my veins, and I just became obsessed with it. I couldn't eat, couldn't sleep, and I just did all things aesthetic. And so basically I worked in med spas, which were great, with plastic surgeons. It was amazing. And you just get to a point where you're like, I can't reach as many people. Mm-hmm. Like the impact that I want to have, the vision that I have with aesthetics, I can't fully deliver unless I go out on my own.
Right.
And so with the help of Aluma Aesthetics, I had a friend who worked with them. Once I talked to all the girls, I fell in love with them. And basically shortly after, we kind of looked around at different places, and I had never been to Bird Rock, okay? And even though I had lived in San Diego for a while, once I drove down that street, I was like, what is this place? It's so cute, hidden, beautiful, quaint, charming, coastal, vibey. And the second I saw the studio with the Aluma beautiful girl that I work with now and my guy, we were just mesmerized. And so that was it. So that's why we chose it. And so it's been open for a year and a half now, and it's been so amazing. It's the best thing that I've ever done.
And with the clients that you're seeing in the Bird Rock area, what's kind of the common service getting done, or trend-wise, what are you seeing?
Yeah. So I would say one of the things that I'm known for are the natural doll lips. So they're the flat lips, very tall in the center, and they taper. A lot of the lips that you see right now are they're a little bit over projected. They don't have a lot of shape, and they have the typical duck lip look. So I love to undo those and redo those. So that's a big thing that I do there. And the other thing too, which I've noticed kind of in the La Jolla, but I mean, in all of the San Diego area, is like a lot of migrated fillers. So one of the things that I really specialize in is assessing the whole face to see where the fillers might have moved or gone wrong, and then looking at the whole face as a whole, a holistic, I guess, viewpoint, and then undoing, redoing, and getting to the goals with the patient in a maintenance-based plan way.
Right. Because it doesn't just happen in one session. I think that's maybe the misconception. People, they come in, they see a photo of what they're looking for, whether it's on their face or whatever they're trying to accomplish, and it takes time.
It takes so much time. And I think the thing that I really focus on is educating from the second that they step in the door, and then building the relationship. Like, I want them to trust me. I want to trust them, that they would tell me anything on their mind. But yeah, educating from the second they walk through about what aesthetics really means for us and for them. Yeah.
And having your studio in Bird Rock, what is your favorite part about the Bird Rock community?
Oh my gosh,
if you can pick just one.
Yeah. I can't pick just one, but okay. One of the things I love about Bird Rock, I can't pick just one, so I'm going to name a few, but basically the beautiful scene of the ocean is just amazing, but also that there's no chains. I love that it's all like independent businesses.
Yeah.
And everywhere that you go, you get to like meet the person who owns the place, and you get to become really good friends with them. And there's actually a lot of like different places there, like Paradisia, there's like Wheat and Water, there's a bunch of hairstylists, clothing shops, like coffee shops, Wayfair, which we love.
Yeah, so good.
Yeah, so good. There's like so many hidden gems in this little hidden gem of a strip. It's great.
Yeah, and it's really supporting small businesses and keeping everything very local, which, you know, that's kind of like San Diego as a whole. It's very business friendly, and especially being in Bird Rock, you're kind of in that little like niche, you want to say. It's not like you're in the village or you're by the shores. You're kind of siloed away, and it's harder to get to. So it's awesome that you have your studio there. Now, if someone is watching this and they want to make an appointment, they want to learn more about you and the services that you offer, what's the best way for them to get in touch?
I always say that go to my Instagram, and if you go to just Instagram, it's The Sculptress Nurse. That's the best way to see kind of bits of my work. And then you can also go, we have a phone number, it's 858-900-9772, and you can text or call that number. But I would say Instagram or the phone number, just the best way to reach out to us. Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming on the podcast today. And thank you for watching Discover La Jolla.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thanks for having me.